and welcome to my first ever Sims 4 Legacy Challenge. I am going to be starting today the Sims 4 Random Legacy Challenge. Now this can be found on the Mod The Sims Forum website. I will be including a link to that in the description below, so feel free to head on over and check it out. For those of you who don't know, the Random Legacy Challenge is a challenge that has been around for a very long time. I know it was around with Sims 3. I gave it a couple of attempts a few years ago on Sims 3, but I didn't do very well. I didn't get very far in the challenge, so basically I did not win. So what the Random Legacy Challenge is, it's a 10 generation challenge where everything about your family is decided by the roll of a dice. Or in this case, I'll be using a random number generator, as some of the numbers that you roll for are not ones that you'd find on any sort of dice. For instance, for one of the categories you have to roll a number between 1 and 17. I don't have a 17-sided dice, so I'll be using a random number generator. So everything from the marital status to how many kids you have to your career is dictated to you by these random numbers. So we're going to start with our marital status or marital structure. This is going to be a roll between 1 and 25. So let's see what I get here. Okay, I've got 22, which is a mixed couple with help. This means that in addition to my couple, I get an extra person. They can be a friend of the family, a sibling, something like that. They do not actually contribute financially to the family, but they're there to kind of like help out, maybe help with the kids or garden or whatever it is, as long as you're not making any extra money from the garden. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to roll for is for the amount of children that I'm going to have. So let's have a look. I've rolled a 3, which is 2 children. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as possible because I know that watching this screen is probably not very exciting. The next thing I'm going to roll for is the careers. Now you have to roll twice for this one to determine which type of career, and then 1 for the specific career. So I've rolled a 6, which is the conventional career. Okay, and I've just rolled a 23 for the actual career, which is a scientist from the Get to Work expansion pack. Okay, so now I have to roll for my other Sims career, the second Sim. I've rolled a 9, which means they're going to be a career hopper. Okay, so now I need to roll 5 careers from the conventional career list. So I'm going to just generate 5 numbers at once and see what I get. I've got numbers 27, which is a politician in the politician branch. Number 11, which is an astronaut, space ranger branch. Number 21, which is the Get to Work doctor. Number 19, which is business in the management branch. And finally, number 18, which is the athlete in the pro athlete branch. Now, I do not have to get to level 10 in each of these careers before I can hop over. I can hop over as and when I like. I can do it in whatever order I like. I'm just going to do it in the order that I've rolled it in because I think that gives it a bit more of a random flavour to it. So I will be keeping a list of this nearby me, and I will be, when relevant, putting the results of my roll up on the screen just to give us a reminder of what it is I'm supposed to be doing. The next thing we want to roll for is our generation goal. Every generation in the 10 generation challenge will have their own goal. Okay, so let's see what my goal is for this generation. It is number 3, which is perfect children. Okay, so this means that I have to get all of the toddler skills up to at least level 3, with one of them at level 5. This includes potty training. Potty training has to be at level 3. Now, when they're a child, they have to complete at least 1 aspiration. Okay, and they also have to make a best friend forever whilst they're a child. And on top of that, they need to get a B whilst they're in elementary school. And then when they're in high school, they need to get an A. And they also need to have a successful relationship with somebody for 24 hours, boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, so that's our perfect children. And finally, the last category we're doing is miscellaneous fun. This just gives the game a little bit of an extra tweak, maybe makes it a little bit more difficult, or maybe makes it even a little bit more fun. So let's see what I get here. I have rolled an 8, which is fixer upper. This means that I'm not allowed to use the repairman or handyman. I'm also not allowed to replace items that are broken. I have to actually physically repair them myself. Okay, so those are the rules for my first generation. Now what I'll do is I'll just get started with creating them. So one of the rules of the challenge is you have to start with a completely new game. You can't start with a game that you've had other saves on or anything like that. It has to be completely fresh from scratch. So just because this is how I always create my households, I'm going to create the woman first. I find it a little bit easier. We are just going to be going with a traditional household to begin with a husband and wife, and then maybe one of them will have a sibling who will count as the helper. So we're just going to go through, and I am going to speed through the actual creation of the sim. So don't worry, you're not going to be sitting here watching me go into a lot of detail with creating the sim. I'm going to speed through it so you don't have to watch for ages. Okay, so with the randomness, we're going to give them random names, and we'll also go with random traits. Okay, so seeing as this one's a scientist, here we have it with my family completely saved. I'm just going to upload this one to the gallery real quick, and then we'll be ready to play. Okay, so now that they're shared to the gallery, let's actually get on with playing our random legacy challenge. Start in spring, just because I think that makes the most sense. So here we go, spring is selected, and okay, where for the family to live. Okay, so let's just start off in Willow Creek. We can always move around if we don't want to stay there. So we're just going to start with the Bargain Bend lot. Given that it's the start of the game, we're low on funds, we're not going to be having a massive house. Now again, the house building is something that I am just going to speed through again, so I hope you're enjoying the elevator music that I've got playing for you while I speed through the things like creating, building, stuff like that. Once we're a little bit further into the game, I won't be speeding through the builds so much, just because it won't take quite so much time. I will be doing some building videos later on, where I actually go into detail about my thought process behind the build and everything else that you'd need to know, why I choose the colours I choose, why I choose the furniture, all sorts of things to maybe give you some hints and tips into building, just to let you guys kind of see my thought process there. So as soon as this is loaded, I'll get on with the building. I do apologise that my computer maybe isn't quite so great. It's getting a little bit old, this one. It is on my to-do list to get a new laptop as soon as quarantine is lifted. So I am done with the house build now. As you probably saw, I did have to go back a lot of times and change items, replace them with cheaper, less expensive ones. That's just because I'm not really used to building a family home on the starting budget. I normally build a very small square house to begin with and then work my way up once I've got more money. But I decided this time to actually try and build a family style home. Anyway, I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the house, and then that will wrap up this episode of starting out on the Sims 4 Random Legacy Challenge. So we're just going to have a little look around the house now. So here we've got our living room with the kitchenette in the back behind the TV. This is the TV from Tiny Living. It's really handy because it is not just a TV, it also counts as your bookshelf and stereo. So if you are low on funds, it's kind of like a 3-in-1 there. You don't need to have absolutely everything. We've got a little computer desk over there. Just thinking one of the Sims is a scientist. They are probably going to need to be doing some research on the computer. We're also probably going to need a chess set later on, but we can get that once we've got some more money behind us. Going into this room, this is the helper's room. It's just a little single bedroom there, very simple. I've tried to keep a kind of similar theme running throughout the house, kind of with the very traditional kind of craftsman style, very plain neutral colours. Here we've got the bathroom. Again, I tried to get everything to match using the raw set from the base game, just to kind of again give it that kind of traditional homey feel. Once I get some more money behind me again, I will go through and decorate this, give it a few extras, throw in some plants, some miscellaneous items, hand towels, things like that. That's something that I will do once we have some more money. Okay, so moving on through here to the master bedroom. Again, keeping with the simple kind of neutral decor, try to keep it a similar feel throughout the whole house. So this house will be expanded once we have got underway and we're starting to have children. We're going to need room for the nursery. I've created a house like this because it will be really simple to add a second floor to, especially where that kitchen window is. You could have a dormer above there once we get going, and some patios. You saw I was playing around with a roof on top of the porch. I was thinking once we get the second floor in, that could kind of be a nice little balcony outdoor area as well. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. I can't wait to actually get into the gameplay of this, but we'll save that for the next episode as this one's gone on for long enough. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Ekmi Denisi, and I hope you have enjoyed my video.